Oh, we're live.
We're live, dear God, we're live.
Ouija's so excited because he has a lot to tell everybody. What do you want to say? Ouija would like to talk about the fact that the registration is open for our celebration for the turkeys, and Ouija is so excited because you know what that means? Lots of people to chase around. So Ouija is the head of our group here. I know, I'm trying to talk about you. So Ouija is the rooster that lives in here. He's very handsome, he's a silkie, and he's very excited because celebration of the turkeys means lots of people coming, and the chickens get to eat too. And if you've ever been to one of our celebrations, it is amazing. It's a feast that's been created for the actual turkeys, not for people. So there's really low tables. I know it's delicious. Really low tables with like yams and all sorts of really good food like pumpkin pie and salad and cranberries and everything that turkeys and chickens like. Correct me if I'm wrong. Do you like them? He does. And they get up on the table and make a big mess, and it's a lot of fun. And so it's kind of like turning the tables on the holiday because obviously, you know, I think it's 46 million turkeys are slaughtered every year for Thanksgiving alone. So this is an opportunity for us to celebrate turkeys for who they are, and they are all very amazing. Correct me if I am wrong, Anna. And if you're going to look around here, you're going to see a lot of feathers right now. So currently this week we have a bunch of grumpy turkeys. I know, that's probably why you're standing up here. The turkeys are in a really foul mood, and that is not a joke. But if you look at all the feathers, it's because we have an early molt. Usually we don't get molting with our turkeys until October, and everybody is molting. So as they walk or shake their bodies, all their feathers come out. And somebody's over there eating them. Delicious. So it is, oh, thank you for demonstrating, because lots of feathers are coming out everywhere. And when they molt, they have a tendency for their immune system to go down. We see a lot of times during a molt that respiratory issues come up. And the other thing that happens during a molt is everybody's in a bad mood because those feathers have really thick parts that come out into the skin. This is one that fell out, but these are coming through the skin. And especially when you talk about the big wing feathers, the flight feathers, they have a huge, the ends of the feathers are huge and they're coming through the body. So molting is not our favorite thing. You really just want my attention right now, don't you? Ouija is one of the most amazing roosters. While we're here talking about turkeys, you can't forget to talk about this glamorous boy. You are so handsome. I'm going to put you down.
Jude is asking if the early molting has happened because of the excessive heat this summer.
I think it might be this has been the craziest year because it started out in May that it was still cold, which is really late for us because usually by May it's really super hot, and then all of a sudden in June and July it was outrageously hot for here, and then just recently, like last week or yesterday perhaps, it was outrageously hot, and now it's really, really cold. So it's been such a strange year for us and such a strange year for them. So yeah, everybody's body's just a little bit off. And I'm really hoping it doesn't mean that winter is going to come early, although we have had a couple of the trees look like it's trying to turn into fall. And that is, yep, that's the season. This is the season, the fall season, when we do this celebration. So hopefully it won't come too soon. But we are very excited about the celebration, right?
Yes.
I want to look. You can look and see. Let's go over and see who's molting the most. Even the chickens are molting. Yes. Explore.org.
The tongs with the hens.
No. Okay, so in our turkey, and yeah, we can talk about the turkeys. So these are all industrial turkeys, and you can see the molting. See these feathers coming in? Imagine that. It would be very, very painful, and it is. So their personalities also change during the molt because they're very uncomfortable, and I think they blame us for it. But turkeys in the industry, and these are all industrial turkeys. We have two different types of industrial turkeys. This is a smaller breed called the Holland White, and this is a larger breed, hi Shannon, called the broad-breasted white. Shannon is also de-toed, so if you look, if you come over here, you can see that her toes, the tips of her toes have been cut off. I know, this was crazy. It's called nail trimming, and they actually cut them off. We don't see that as much with the Holland Whites, but we definitely see it still with the broad-breasted whites. And everybody is debeaked. So Shannon was definitely debeaked with an actual blade debeaking, but Shannon is she's over a decade old now, so she's an older bird. Now we're seeing more of the microwaving debeaking, where they burn the tip off. which leads me then to the tom question, which I totally went off topic with. But with the toms, because these birds have been bred to be so extremely large, especially the breast of these turkeys, the toms can't actually naturally reproduce with these girls at all. They cannot fertilize their eggs, their chests are too big, and when they get on top of them, they can actually tear their skin really, really easily. So we never can put the toms with the hens. I'm sure that's very frustrating for the toms, but they actually really cause damage to these girls. They're much, much smaller. So in this flock, she's preening her, that's so cute. She's like, I want your feathers, since mine are all falling out. But in this flock, we weigh these birds once a month, unless they have a health issue where we need to weigh them more often. But we weigh these girls once a month because we're trying to keep them between, with the Holland whites, we want to keep them well under 30 pounds, usually like between 22 and 26. Whereas with the broad-breasted whites, we're trying to keep them between probably, 25 and 32 pounds. And that is not natural at all. So all of these birds come from wild turkeys. Female wild turkeys weigh between 8 and 11 pounds. So try to imagine having the brain of a turkey and the instincts of a turkey, and you're supposed to weigh between 8 and 11 pounds, and you actually weigh 30 pounds. And think of all the things that means you can't do. They also have very short wings. Turkeys in the wild can fly up to 55 miles an hour, which is really scary. And they can fly straight up into trees. These guys can't even perch once they get over about 3 months old. Oh, they just did something really cute and you missed it. They just bounced in the air. Okay, go ahead.
Don is asking if the turkeys have vitamin deficiencies while they're molting.
They can, yeah. And the thing is, because they're using everything up, it's the same as when you have animals that are in production for laying eggs. They're using up different nutrients to create eggs. That's why they have a very different diet when they're in the laying process. So it's the same with the molting. Yes, they can become deficient if you're not supplementing them. Correct? She's like, yes. And you can see, like, all her feathers, they look really crappy right now. It's because her new feathers, can you show them? Let me show them. Oh my goodness, Cecilia, you're the tiniest of all of them. So she's got, oh, this isn't actually Cecilia, sorry, I'm a liar. This is Kai. And Kai's actually losing weight too, because that's why I didn't recognize her. So one of the things that we also monitor is they lose too much weight, and a lot of times in the molt, because they don't feel good, they do lose weight. And you can see the debeaking. So see her beak? How the bottom is long and the top is short? And that's how they do the debeaking, because it's hard when they're fighting. They grab and they twist, and they can't grab as easily when the top beak is gone. So that is less trauma to the muscle and the meat, unfortunately, for the industry. Yes?
Donna would like to know how you tell these turkeys apart.
Because they're all so beautiful and different. A lot of the way to tell them apart, and we have lots of different ways. So like right now, if you look, they all have different colored bands, because when we're training people who don't know the turkeys, especially when we have new people come in caregiving that have to medicate the turkeys, we have to have these bands, because like I just did it. So she looked like Cecilia because she's small, but this is actually Kai. So what happened was I thought it was Cecilia, looked at the band, and it's like, oh wait, that's not Cecilia, that's Kai. So we have these bands for a reason, because they are so similar looking. Very different. If you think about like goats and sheep and all the other animals, they look very, very different, whereas when the turkeys come in, they do look very, very similar. Once you get to know them really well, you can tell them apart. Like I never miss Gerda. Gerda is a very simple one for me because Gerda wants to kill me. So you always should know your nemesis, always. But some of them, it's very simple to tell them apart just because of their features. Shannon clearly is very different than everybody else. She has a little black feather on each side, and she also has that little teeny tiny beard, but she's the only de-toed turkey that we have, so she doesn't even have to have a band. She's so obvious. And then other ones, that's Gerda beside her. Gerda, the moody one, who is so molting right now, so she has hardly any feathers. Look how thinned out her feathers are. And her tail feathers are gone, and it's really sad. But she will get a beautiful, beautiful, full feathered body very, very soon. Here, Luke, look over here. See how these are blood feathers that are coming in too? So see how all this is coming through? Can you stand still for 1 minute? See how this is all coming into the skin? And that really is, it's a source of just like, inflammation. Like look how thick those feathers are when they come in through the skin. I know, it's so itchy. I'll help. Yeah, so all of these are new feathers. So see how the feathers are growing in here? And these are blood feathers. So the other thing you have to worry about is if they see blood, sometimes they start to peck at it. So you have to watch and make sure that nobody has an open blood feather or nobody gets a blood feather pulled out, because it actually bleeds. So this is a crazy time. It's a crazy time. I know, and you're all helping each other so much with your molting.
Can you talk more about what blood feathers are?
Yeah, so blood feathers, when the feather first comes in, there's a blood supply with it. And so when it gets pulled out, blood actually comes out of the wing or the part of the body where the blood feather's actually coming in. Once the feather's fully grown in, it doesn't have that same like blood when you pull it out, so it's not the same thing. So the blood feathers are when they're first coming in. You can see them on her, so like these are not, but see how they have blood? Don't look. They have a blood supply. Don't look at the blood supply.
So can turkeys get rid
Diana.
of ticks the way the chickens can?
I think they can, yeah, but the biggest problem with the D-beaked turkeys is picking up really tiny little objects. So in the wild, yeah, they can definitely pick at any tiny little, like millet is a big deal. Like so that like they pick up like the tiniest little teeny tiny little seeds and teeny tiny little bugs when they're in the wild. But the D-beaked turkeys, like you can see her beak, hers is like cracked. And that's another thing that happens is they get these big cracks in them because they've messed with them. Show him your crack in your beak. I can't even believe it, Anna. So Anna has a crack in her beak, and they have a lot of problems picking up really tiny objects because they don't have a full beak. A full beak is sharp and pointy and can pick up the tiniest, smallest, little teeny tiny bug. So ticks and chickens are great. Guinea fowl are the big tick eaters, and they eat thousands and thousands of ticks. The good news is we don't have a big tick problem on this farm for some reason. We don't see ticks, not even on the cats. So we feel very lucky that for whatever reason we have not been inundated with ticks.
So what do we do to make sure for the turkeys that are DB that they get the nutrients and the care that they need?
Okay, so what we do is we feed them a complete diet, so their ration has every single thing in it that they need, and it's pelleted so they can pick it up. It's not a crumble. It's not something so small that they can't get it, so they've learned to scoop those pellets up so they don't have to go through and individually eat the things that they need. So a complete ration is what we do with almost everybody, just because it makes it so they're not also just picking out the things they like. That's a pigeon slipping on the roof. There's a pigeon slipping off the roof. No. It's terrible. Somebody catch the pigeon. Thankfully they can fly. A lot of pigeons live in here too. I see one right there. I'm just waiting for one to be right above me. You'll know if that happens.
So for people who are joining us in a little bit late, can you recap why we're in with the turkeys and what special celebration is coming up for them that people can now sign up for?
Well, the reason everybody's preening is because they're going to have a big party. So we're getting ready. We like to start early with the preening. We are having our celebration for the turkeys, which we have every single November. We have 2 events in Acton and 2 events in Watkins Glen. You should go online and register. They sell out really fast, and they are amazing because part of the event is on the farm, so you get lots of farm time with the animals, but we also set up these really big long tables, and we actually have food served to the turkeys, not to the people in that part of the celebration. So we have big pumpkin pies and salads and cranberries and all the things, butternut squash, all the things that these turkeys really, really love to eat. We set out this giant feast for them. We open up the doors and they run out, and Shannon is the queen of the celebration for the turkeys because this is like over her 10th celebration for the turkeys will be this year. I think it's probably the 12th. And she jumps up on the table and eats absolutely everything. So she's always the first one out because she knows all about it. She's like an old hat. All of these guys actually have had their turkey feast, their celebration for the turkeys, I don't know how many times, probably 3 or 4 now. So everybody's like an old pro at this. So they'll run out, and the chickens do the same thing. They run out and jump on the tables and eat. But it's our way of celebrating them and their lives because 46+ million turkeys die every year just for the Thanksgiving holiday. That is a traditional holiday, meal, and so we want to kind of flip that around and have the tradition go for them and not for people to eat them because that's just crazy. It doesn't make any sense. And then people get to really know these turkeys because I think until you know a turkey, it's very hard to understand just how like they're so much more sophisticated, I think, than people imagine. I've read so many articles where people used to think that turkeys drown in the rain because they looked up at the sky when it was raining and all these crazy things, kind of proving that they're not smart, but they're actually very smart. They come back to the same places when they're being fed. They know exactly where you're going to feed them. If you start feeding them like across the whole pasture, by tomorrow they'll know that that's where they're going to be fed, so they all move over that way. They know the spots to look for bugs. They have best friends. They have 30+ recognizable vocal sounds. They're really, really intelligent animals, and they love to stay clean and pretty by preening. And right now we're molting. note the feather loss. And so this is actually a time when they're not in a great mood because they're blood feathers again, and all these big thick feathers are coming in and puncturing the skin. This is the time of year where we have to watch because during the molting, their immune system drops. So you want to make sure that nobody gets sick because a lot of these birds come in with conditions that are chronic, like mycoplasma. So we have to watch every single year to make sure that they feel okay. Look at this poor little silky girl. I am so sorry, Posey, but all their feathers are coming out too. So they just look so pathetic and sad, but they will look really, really good by the celebration. Maybe that's why they molted early, so they could be all festive when it comes to November. So remember to go online and look, because it is, like, we have so many members that come, and it's one of the favorite celebrations because it's just so much fun, because you have farm time, and it's in the fall, and everything's really beautiful here, and you get to have a lot of time and celebrate these animals for who they are. So isn't that exciting, girls?
And then the people get to have a vegan Thanksgiving meal.
Yes, the people get to have a vegan Thanksgiving meal, which is awesome. And it's at a hotel, and it's really relaxing, and you'll get to hear me talk, because if you haven't heard me talk, wow. No, because I talk a lot. So I'll be talking. I don't know who's speaking at this year's celebration. I will have to look it up online with you guys. But we should definitely, do you want to preen me? She's like, your fingernails are atrocious. This is how you get a manicure from a turkey. They're really good at it.
So how long will they molt for?
Unfortunately, they started a couple weeks ago. Oh my God, that's pathetic. One of them just has feathers hanging off of her right now. Sorry. She's gonna shake. Look, watch. When she shakes, a lot of feathers are probably gonna come off. Oh, they didn't. So they'll molt for a couple weeks, and it takes a couple weeks for the feathers to come in. Some of it actually takes longer than others. Olaf, hello. So all of our turkeys are coming over to say hello and yell at each other for not getting enough attention. Hello, Olaf. This is Olaf. This is Kai. This is Anna. They're all Frozen characters. If you remember, when they came in, they were only this big, and they were really, really cute. And now you're really, really beautiful. Yes, you are. You're absolutely stunning. So this whole crew will be here. We're very excited for people to come. So definitely register for Celebration for the Turkeys, because it is one of our really exciting events. It's a lot. I love it. Oh, and afterwards, they didn't get enough by feeding the turkeys. We get to take all of the pumpkins that are here, and we throw them in with the pigs, and then the pigs eat them, and then they go to the bathroom, and their seeds come out in the poop, and then more pumpkins grow. It's the most amazing thing. It's a recycling of pumpkin seeds. It's really, really awesome. So all of our compost is full of pumpkins, which you will get to see this year because they will be put out for decoration. I am so excited. So as much as I hate the fact that summer is going to be over soon, I actually really like the fall here. It's one of the prettiest times of year. Oh dear God, I'm so sorry about your molting. Yeah, everybody looks a little miserable right now, but we are all very excited about the celebration. Correct? That's what I thought. So anyway, please go online and look and see where the events are going to be. Remember, 2 of them will be in Southern California and Acton at the beginning of November. You even broke a feather. And then the other celebrations will be here in Watkins Glen, and there will be 2 of them because they sell out so quickly. We're doing 2 at each location. So don't forget, because it's going to be really, really fun, and you'll get to feed all these turkeys, and by the time you get here, all the feathers will be off the ground, molting will be over, everybody will be ready for autumn. We're all very excited. Don't eat turkeys. And thank you for tuning in. Thank you.